What do you like about what he brings to this team, not only on the ice, but from a leadership perspective?
No, you just said it. He's a great leader. He's a character guy. He plays wherever I ask him to play, left wing, right wing, center. Kills penalties, does all the right things. So really like him. Good addition to our team. Good leader and all that. And he's doing the right thing. So everything a coach likes, he does it.
When you talk about all that stuff, how important is it for a young group or a group that's upwards like you guys are trying to be, to have a guy who's won in the room, and like what sorts of things, like does he pull guys aside and talk to them? How does that work?
I hope so. It's huge. I mean, that's what we want our kids to be. You know what I mean? We want them to come and be consistent, play the game the right way, and you learn from players on the ice, and that's why he's a good example of how coaches want guys to play and compete. You know, he's been through the winning the last 2 years. He won 2 Stanley Cups, and that goes a long way. And I know he got star players ahead of him, but he plays his role perfect, and that's what the Rangers are looking for. People, show those young kids the way, and that's what we need. I think he's done a great job.
We talked a lot about big tests with games and stuff, but 2-time reigning Stanley Cup champions, is there a bigger test than that?
Yeah, no, I mean, that team's had a lot of controversy this year with their team, with the injuries they've had with their star players and that, but they just keep finding ways. They're first place in the NHL again, and John Cooper does a good job with his staff, getting his team ready to play. And they play hard, they work hard, and that's why they win Stanley Cups. It's just not from their skill, but it's the will and the way they play every night.
From what you've scouted, what do you feel like is going to be key for your team?
Key for us, when we play well, the second period last night, we got pucks behind the defense. We chipped pucks. We didn't put pucks in the middle of the ice. I said that from day one of the season, but it was true. Last night it was so obvious. We did the right thing with the puck. We managed the puck well, and we did a good job. And if we're going to play a loose game against Tampa and exchange chances 2-on-1 to 3-on-2s and not do the right thing with the puck, we'll have a tough night.
You talked the other day about how now you feel like you've gotten to know the players a lot more, and now that you have the taxi squad up, is it nice for you to get to know those guys too, because they're kind of on the bubble roster and you get to familiarize yourself?
I've seen a lot of those guys at camp, and that's the first time I met a lot of those kids. So it's nice to have them around and all that. I mean, it's not a perfect scenario, as we all know, but I think it's good for those guys to be around our team, and when they get the opportunity to play games, if that happens, then it'll make it that much easier for them to adjust to our systems and everything. So, it's good to see those kids. They're happy, they're excited to be here.
I know last night you said that Igor might want to have that one goal back, the 3-2 goal, I guess it was. What did you think of him? He hadn't played in 3 weeks or whatever.
I thought he looked real sharp, to be honest with you, for being out that amount of time. And again, I didn't blame Igor in that goal. I thought it was tipped by Foxy. When you look at the replay, his stick is right there, whether it touched it or not. So he looked. The way I guess I can explain it the most, he looked frustrated that it went in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I probably said what I said. It wasn't like I thought it was a bad goal. It was just that he looked frustrated. I thought, again, looking at it from the bench, figured it got tipped. Foxy's stick was right there. Whether it tipped it or not doesn't matter. It was an issue. So.
But aside from that one thing, the 60 minutes that he played, you're good with what he looked like?
Oh, real good. Yeah, I thought he looked really solid. The other 2 goals that I can remember right off my mind, he had no chance on. The top shelves that the player beat him with. I mean, he's right in the slot. He beats him with a good clean shot. So, and the other one, the tic-tac-toe play in front of the net, he had no chance on that. So I thought he looked really sharp.
What do you remember about this place and this team from when you coached, across the states? Is it the same team or is it different somehow?
Well, they were still a good team then. They were learning how to win, I guess. I mean, they were one of the top teams. They had a couple disappointments in the playoffs that made them a better and stronger team. And then now they're at the top, So they had some 2 or 3 tough years there where they were good teams and they lost. They learned from the playoffs, and then they come back in the next 2 years and they win Stanley Cup because they knew they had the grit and they added guys like Goodrow and Coleman and those type of players. And that made a difference for them. But they got the skill, now they got the will, and they play the right way.
It seemed like, so last night you had, Mika looked good, Artemi looked good. Did you get enough out of your third line though? I mean, like, those guys, I know they were good for a while.
Didn't last night, no. Didn't last night.
Yeah.
No, I'm being honest, we didn't last night.
Have any special tips from Barclay Goodrow on how to beat his former team?
Not yet. I'm sure he'll fill us in a little bit, but no, he's been, like I said.